Welcome everyone to the LEC postgame lobby. I am Shocked and I'm joined by Kadril and by Leader after a well-fought game versus G2. Unfortunately, not being able to pick up the win twice in a row. You smashed them last time, so I guess Leader, hopefully it doesn't hurt as bad that you couldn't close out this game.
I was fine. I think we held on pretty good. We had a really good start to the game, I would say. And then we just let it slip out. Just one mistake and it just went out of our control. It felt like, because, I mean, G2 is really good when they get like one small mistake and they abuse it. So we just couldn't reestablish ourselves in the game.
Yeah, it felt like after you guys got the 2v2 kill in bot, I think it's on the screen now, and then the double kill onto Shigenda in top, it felt like the early game storm was weathered and you guys were probably in the driver's seat. Where do you think the game was, I won't say lost, but you dropped the ball and, G2 got ahead?
I think when we didn't take control back in properly in bot lane and we were getting caught one by one, that's probably when we first lost control after like Herald, I think. We didn't play correctly from there on out, and then we, just like I said, we couldn't re-establish control after that. We couldn't just make the game stable.
I don't want to kind of take this game in the context of all other games, because I think, as you said correctly, G2 is exceptionally difficult to fight against when they take those openings, right? And they keep snowballing from there. I do think that Vitality has had a bit of an issue this entire season already with having fantastic early game leads, getting the ball rolling, and then maybe around objectives or in certain skirmishes and team fights, kind of dropping the ball. Do you feel the same way? And is that a working point for Vitality?
I think for sure, yeah. We, like you said, we usually get good early game leads, but we try to overreach sometimes. And when we overreach, we don't properly play from behind, like tempo, right? After we make a play and we don't reset together, or like before enemy spawns or something, we'll be behind in tempo, then they will make a play on us and we won't respect it. I think that's like our biggest issue.
So when a play happens on either side, you feel like you don't have the time to recover as a team and actually match the next play, and you're just like that one step behind?
I think it's just more like us as players, we always feel like we're ahead of, well, one step ahead instead of one step behind. So if we can properly put on the brakes, I think we'll do much better than we are right now.
Yeah, what you seem to describe is also seeming to be kind of also a side effect of big new synergy, right? And new voices coming into this team, as well as then the top lane swap that's happened now again a couple of weeks ago. But the big question is, will it be fixed in time to get into the playoffs? Yeah, let me know.
I mean, right now we have our toughest week, right? Like schedule-wise this week, we just played G2, we lost, even though I think we played like good, like, right, in early game. And tomorrow we have Mad Lions, and today they lost against SK. They're not looking that good, honestly. But then again, we're not looking that good as well. Like, we're shaky. So if it's like the game tomorrow is not really a difficult game, it's just a game that can kind of go both ways if we don't fix our issues in time. And then from there on out, I think we have Rogue, and then we have Astralis Excel and Schalke as opponents. So we just need to do our best these first 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, and I think it only kind of gets easier for you guys, right? Like you said, I think that as the weeks progress, you can see week 7, week 8, XL, Schalke starts to get a little bit easier. So I think for a team like XL, when I looked at their strength of schedule, it was the opposite, right? This weekend, they've got, I won't say easier games, but easier. It gets a little bit easier the week 7, but then towards week 8, they start facing G2 and Rogue and Mad Lions. So it's kind of like a race in a sense of who can pick up the most wins.
Mm-hmm. I think for Vitality, definitely also, if you ask anyone, and we've asked a lot of people that were guest analysts or like online or whatever, and everyone says Vitality is the team that actually should make it into the playoffs. If you look at all the teams in the middle and the bottom of the table, I think, the possibility is absolutely there, but we will see, of course, how you perform in these next couple of games. I do want to call up one specific play. We checked with Leader beforehand, okay? But it was a teleport, and I would love to know what was going on in your mind and what you were outplayed by.
Okay, so it was like a spontaneous teleport. I just took a quick look at bot lane and saw them getting dove. So I was like, holy shit, I need to teleport as well instantly. And then because of how my camera angle was, and like when I zoomed into the bot lane tower, my camera was next to my mini-map. So I just clicked on the tower in mid lane accidentally instead of the bot lane tower. So it just looked like I teleported for fun, basically. But then I just looked back at it and I was like, honestly, it's better. I wouldn't have gotten anything anyways. If I got teleported in, I would just be wasting more time. At least I got some XP back on mid lane.
It wasn't the worst thing in the world.
We'll call it a happy little accident, right? It happens from time to time. Everyone has these kind of moments. And I think you're right? If you actually got the TP off, you wouldn't have been able to do anything bot anyway. He was dead before you got there. No one was low HP. And luckily, you TP'd only to mid tier 2, so
Yeah.
you could run back to the wave
Yeah.
and just push it in time. So it wasn't the worst, just means he lost his TP.
No,
in the end.
5 head. He saw the action. He knew he was going to probably die down there and not get anything. He knew it would take some time for the minions to reach the tower. So he's just taking a stroll, right? That's the
Yeah.
story we're going with.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just taking a stroll.
exactly.
Uh-huh,
Yeah,
wonderful.
of course.
I would like to ask you something about your development and stuff, because we do this all the time with our storytelling about Vitality, but especially as to Vitality coming into the year and coming into this season specifically. The whole leader plays assassins in the mid lane, he plays these insanely proactive champions that should carry the whole game, and then Selfmade does the same. Do you feel like you guys have shown enough to say that that isn't necessarily the case anymore, that Vitality has more paths to victory than just this one style?
I think right now the meta is honestly really heavily solo lane oriented with power picks. So just power picks in solo lanes, and then there's a power pick in jungle. So it's like you kind of are automatically proactive just because of the champions you're playing. So, so I would say like the meta hasn't changed at all, you know. So we're just doing the same thing that we are good at. So we don't even need to show anything else yet.
And a lot of people talk about the meta and they say that these mini champions are kind of helping you out a lot, right? Things you can play like Yone, you can play Sylas, Irelia, all these things that are buffed. Do you think that if it ever came to a control mage meta, that you'd be able to adapt to those kind of playstyles? Because I think a lot of people have strong opinions on that, where they're like, well, not too sure, he's an assassin player, maybe he'll just do it anyway. But after knowing you for a long time as a player and both as a person, I think you have the confidence to go for it. It's just whether you know, if the meta comes with the opportunity to rise, would you do it?
The thing is, right now there are many new champions just getting released over and over again, and in one sense, it can even counter mages, just like mages can be good into them as well. But just like when mages arise, other counter picks that are even melee, like Echo, for example, into Syndra, had just been a famous matchup all around the world. Whenever someone looks in Syndra, you match it with Echo, or you just play control mage, you know. It just depends on what you want to do as a team. And honestly, it depends on how strong the champion is. So if a champion is overtuned, you kind of either have to ban it or match it with an equally as good overtuned champion, or you have to pick something that is good against it. And usually control mages will always be fine, right? Because it has range, it has damage wave clear, so it will always be in a good spot, let's say. So I don't know, honestly. Like you just have to see. I don't really want to think too much about it. I just want to do everything step by step and cross the bridge when I get to it.
No, absolutely. I think there's the exception, I guess, if Azir is super overtuned, then he just always gets picked. What
Yeah.
you're thinking is basically, in a normal scenario, you could always make the choice, and it's up to you as a player to be like, no, I'll take the matchup that is riskier to play, but could also net me a bigger advantage. I like that a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Especially, I think that applies to all roles, right? Just
Yeah.
kind of bringing a different sense of innovation to things, where people like tunnel visioning on Orianna, Syndra, Azir, and then you just bring your own flavor to the table, and all of a sudden that player may not have played against it, or it just does really well into team comp, or the lane matchup can be good, or you outscale, and you find another way around it.
And leaders play is always entertaining because of that, so that's cool. The player of the game here, the Kia player of the game rather, Jankos, 59% of the votes. Kadril, you know, if G2 recovers, that means Jankos recovers because he's always at the center of that.
Yeah, and I think Jankos has been having fantastic games, even in their losses. I feel like Jankos, with what he has in those games, is doing the best he can to juggle, you know, the lane states or however the game is going. In this game specifically, I think his lead team was fantastic, although Caps was like the flashy one, you know, getting all the one-shots and being able to pick up picks before the fights even start. Jankos' mechanics in the fights themselves are just flawless.
They were. One final thing I want to say before we move on to kind of the schedule is I want to ask you about Lebrov, because I feel like Lebrov doesn't get talked about a lot, because we always talk about leader and self-made and then the change in the top lane, whatever it is, crown shot also. And Lebrov has quietly actually been smurfing it, I think, for quite some time. You know, what do you feel about his development and what he can bring to the team?
I think ever since he was in the ERLs, I always thought about him as a really good player. I think he got put in a not the best team, I would say, with not a team that was not doing that well on stage. Maybe they were smurfing on this in scrims or something. And now I would say he got more competent players on his team, even though like we're having our like going downhill a little bit and going uphill and whatever, right? I think he's always been good. I think in reviews or whatever, talking to him as a player and his work ethic, it's really good. He has his view on the game. He's sure about his view on the game, and I can see he's really good. Like honestly, just talking to him and seeing him play. So I think in a few years' time, that guy will probably be, honestly, top 2 or even top 1 support in EU.
Yeah, and I think from the outside, you can kind of see remnants of that, where he has 2 solo queue accounts in the top 5, I think rank 2, rank 3. In competitive games, his mechanics and fights in 2v2s and skirmishes just look absolutely insane. Even in that one where he presses E on Alistar, saves it for the stun, then Q flashes Reckless, and then stuns him and knocks him back. So yeah, it's just beautiful to watch. I think that as time goes by and he learns more and gets more experience of how the team wants to function and maybe become more of a voice in the team, perhaps if he's not already, then I think he'll grow into a great player.
Yeah, it's been a bit messy, I guess, as you say, like the changing of the teams and this and that, but now he's kind of found his home. On this lineup, let's take a look at the state of the league and the strength of schedule. Actually, we took a look at Vitality strength of schedule already, but this is the standings as they are today. So Fnatic and Rogue are in shared #1 spots, and then we have Misfits G2. G2 is on the same line as Mad Lions and Astralis and Team Vitality. So if you look at it, I wouldn't say everything is possible, because unfortunately I think for Schalke and SK Gaming it's going to be hard, but nothing is impossible really if you look at the scoreline.
Yeah, I think if you look at the standings, I think the thing that stands out to me is there's a clear top 5 right now. Now Misfits is up for debate. I mean, I think they're having ups and downs, but despite that, their early start to the split has picked them up a lot of wins, so they deserve to be there, right? So to me, there's a clear top 5. I just feel like leader, it's between, from my perspective, you, Astralis, and XL. How do you see that kind of 3-way battle for 6th place going? Is there any favorites? Do you think that you guys are perhaps stronger than these teams?
I think honestly, looking at how XL is playing, they have their own style right now that they figured out. I think, in all honesty, they're looking like a good team. I think it's for sure a playoffs team even. But looking at the standings and how today went, I think honestly anything can still happen. Like Mad Lions lost today. And then there's like Astralis, us, XL, everyone lost basically today, and SK won, right? So just looking at that, it still feels like anything can happen, especially if we win against Mad Lions. Even they maybe need to be a little bit more stressed out in the upcoming weeks. I don't know how their schedule is looking, honestly, if it's harder or easier.
I don't know. I'll have
I think they still have some top teams to face.
But I do love that you brought that up, because I think we very easily always go when it's a G2 or even a Mad Lions because they are the reigning champions. Like, well, they'll probably make it. But you're right. It's only a 2-game difference, and you're playing them tomorrow.
Yeah.
So if you beat them, that's huge.
And then also SK, right?
Yeah. It's
so
nuts.
huge upset, I want to say, even though it's a best of 1, but SK played well, I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're right. I think it's all up in the cards, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Like it feels like Mad Lions honestly can be fighting with us, like for the other teams for the spot. It's just how the schedule is looking like as well, because I think Mad Lions still has to play G2 and Rogue, right?
I think they do.
Yeah, so it's like Mad Lions can honestly like not even make playoffs if you think about it. If we and the XL do good, like
that's nuts.
I mean, it's a bit of a crazy saying, but
I don't think
they're
it's
not
that
looking like a clearly good team. Like honestly, the only good teams right now, the way they're playing, is like Fnatic, Rogue, and G2. I think like I'm super confident in these teams with the way the stuff is going for them. But everyone else, it feels like it's us included.
Yeah,
feels like it's a bit of a coin flip.
I like it. It means we're going into a crazy 2 weeks and tomorrow as well. So tomorrow is also the match of the week between G2 and Fnatic. So I'm going to ask you guys for a cheeky prediction. K-Draw?
I think you asked me to top the show.
I did, and you said Fnatic.
I'd say Fnatic, yeah. I think there's a lot of context as to why I'd say Fnatic, but for now I'm just going to say Fnatic.
No, give me some context.
Well, I think Fnatic, okay, well, I think G2 still have a little bit to prove to me, despite their win against Rogue, which was so dominating, where I think there was a small draft diff in a sense, and then the level 1 in the bot dive, and then just kind of snowballing from there. And G2 obviously playing fantastic and having a great weekend. I just need to see more from them. But Fnatic, 9 wins in the last 10 games. I think this team looks probably, I want to say, the strongest team in the league next to Rogue right now.
Yes,
they're the top of the
insane.
standing, so obviously it's very easy to say that. But I think, yeah, Fnatic to me look like the stronger team right now.
Leader?
I can agree with what Kajol is saying. I think Fnatic is looking like the best team, but I'm just looking at the teams that they kind of played against as well. So it feels like they are doing mistakes, like clear mistakes. And I think it's punishable. And right now, the way G2 is looking like, I think if they get their comfort, what they want to play, I think G2 will take it away.
Okay.
Didn't mean to rhyme.
Okay,
Rap God.
awesome. Thank you so much, Leader, for joining us after that game as well. The best of luck tomorrow. For us, we're going to sign off for today, but you can stay tuned because in 1 hour, Immortals versus Cloud9 kicks off in the LCS. Perk's got a shiny new car. I'm so jealous. But we'll be back tomorrow for more League of Legends. See you then. Bye-bye.